boss. He gon' fix your situation like there ain't no time for wasting. We ain't playing when we saying he the boss. And if you ever have a problem, he gon' show you how to solve it. Listen in and he'll show you he the boss.
Talk,
Here's your host, the sexy tax expert, George Dandridge.
Talk video, if for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss.
What's good, Boss Talk family? Go ahead and check out the link, elite8financial.com/boss-coaching. We've been running down the top 10 success hacks, and we are now on number 7. Number 10 was showing up to serve. Number 9 was being present and being in the moment, being engaged. Number 8 was risk-taking. And now we're here at number 7. It's your man, George Dandridge Jr. And number 7 is adaptability. We have to go in on this one because I don't want this one to be misconstrued at all. So, too often, you guys get stuck in this keep it real space, right? And there's a fine line between code switching and being unprincipled, rather than being adaptable. So here's what I mean by being adaptable. Every level requires something different from you. It requires some personal growth. And if you are not adapting to what you've learned, they say when you know better, you do better. So if you're not adapting to the things you learn, and if you're not changing your environments based on what you know and what you've learned, then what is the purpose? So you have to be willing to adapt. We'll give you an example. There's a well-known Louisiana hip-hop mogul, Master P. Highly successful philanthropist. I mean, has done just some absolutely amazing things in the world of hip hop. However, he has a brother, C Murder. And when this success started to abound them, C Murder would not adapt. He left himself in places where he came from, and those places were no longer suitable. And now he's stuck in the Louisiana penitentiary system for the foreseeable future. You know, we're not going to get into whether or not he's guilty or this or that or the other. The moral of the story is, if you've heard the term wrong place, wrong time, well, there's really not a wrong place, wrong time, because any time is the wrong time if you're in the wrong place, right? So you have to be willing to adapt to your new levels, you know, and that does not mean when you walk into a room, you represent something other than yourself or that you're less than authentic. There's this saying to be solid in your plan, but flexible in your approach. And that is key, because the old saying is you can paint a pretty picture, plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather. So if this is the day, the time, the location, and you have the perfect plan set up to execute and it storms, well, you know, my life philosophy is, what's the objective? So at that point in time, what are you going to do to make sure that you still get the desired result? Do you postpone? the picnic because weather is a factor? Do you take the picnic indoors because this is the best time to do it because you can't align everything else again in the foreseeable future, and you have too much committed to let thunderstorms interfere with your plan? And this is metaphor for just things that will happen in life. So I like my man Brian Jubert's approach. He always says, make adjustments, not excuses. Because making the excuse is easy. There's always a reason why you can't do something if you allow there to be a reason to begin with. But if you're really committed to getting it done, you're going to find a way. When you allow the excuse in, it means you really didn't want to do it. Now, I'm not saying that there's never a reason something won't happen. I mean, if you get, wishboned by a car or T-boned by a car and end up in the hospital, for a couple of weeks, then I'm going to say that's probably a valid reason not to get something done. If you come down with some affliction of sorts or whatever, that's probably a reason not to get something done. But in the grand scheme of things, what separates the great from the mediocre, or I even see the mediocre, what separates good from great are those little things, that ability to adapt and still accomplish the objective and get it done. So think about some of the times, recent times, that you've been challenged with a task, an objective, a plan, and something came along that could sidetrack you. Think back on that and ask yourself, what adaptations could you have made in that moment that would have led you to the success that you were going after? And be honest with yourself, because again, it's easy to make the excuses, right? So be honest with yourself and ask, what was my adaptation opportunity? Was I in a mindset to think about that, or was I looking for the first opportunity to check out anyway because I really didn't want to do it? If you think back on one of the past episodes, we talked about the fear of being great. A lot of people think or say, lip service, hey, I want to be great, I want to do some great things, and so forth and so on. And they will go through the motions of looking like that's what they're really after, but they'll check out at the earliest sign of trouble, or I won't even say trouble, the earliest sign of inconvenience, they will check out, and that simply means they weren't committed to being great to begin with, because when you are, you understand that you will have to adapt in different situations in order to meet your objective. This has been George Dandridge. I will see you guys when we count down